Downloading Light live event. Online channeling for a live audience. Lucy Mariani. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Downloading Light live event for July 2023. There's a lovely audience here tonight, some familiar faces and some new ones. Looking forward to answering your questions. For those that might be watching this for the first time ever, I channel guidance from Source, Divine, God, Buddha, Allah, or however you want to call the unconditionally loving energy, however it feels right for you, and share insights with the person asking the question, but also you who might be in the audience now or watching at a later date. I always think there's a gem in there for all of us. So I hope you enjoy this and get something from it. Okay, first up this evening, I'm going to ask Jackson, what's your question?
Hey, Sin. Good evening. No specific questions tonight. Just keen for you to see sort of what messages might be out there from Source. Any energy I should be drawing my attention to.
Okay, sounds great. Let's check in for you. I don't do tarot. I pull out cards for myself and have to read the book because I don't know tarot, even though I can read and do all the things I do. And yet it felt for you, Jackson, that it felt almost like a tarot card in a way. The visual I was shown, it was like this beautiful lake or river sort of to one side of you, and it was like shimmering with little flashes of light dancing on the surface and you standing in the middle. And then it felt on the other side of you, it felt in a way a little bit heavier in a way, the energy, and I'm going to call it serious energy. And it's not negative. Okay, we have to be careful how we say things. It's not negative energy, but it did feel that there was more, perhaps, shall we say, contemplative planning and relating to what looks like some of your next steps coming up. But what I really want to focus on is this flow of energy that's coming in. And it felt, if I'm going to depict it accurately, it felt as if that energy was coming from your right, traveling through to your left. And this shimmering lake is bringing for you gifts. It's almost like having presents bobbing up and down on its surface. It's bringing you gifts, and you are allowed to get excited and sort of open them up, one at a time, like an excited child on their birthday or at Christmas, and see what's in those packages. And some of the gifts are more reminders about you, who you are and where you're at and what you're about to do. And some of them are tools that you're gaining, that you're collecting, that you're assembling even and putting together. So it feels like a really good time for you creatively. And so even if you are in a state of preparing new things of some kind, whatever that is, you're being encouraged to, be like a child, play with things first, put your pieces of the puzzle, not necessarily in the exactly right order, what you think is the right order. It's almost like, see if some pieces could still fit in a different order, even if the image looked different, but to allow there to be that abstract and open representation of what you may be offering is definitely the word, but it needs to be infused with fun. It needs to be infused with light, and like that light that I saw on the surface of that lake, it's really that seems to be very important.
Yeah, that's yeah. I feel like you always do it, Sin. You nail it on the head. But I really sort of understand where you're coming from in terms of the gifts and the way that they're sort of appearing. There's been like a lot of change in the last week, and with it, there have been those sort of gifts or these like offers presented, where there might be like a loss on one end. It just seems to be this all of a sudden this surprise little gift, I guess, from the universe that just kind of offsets that, and it's I've just been trying to observe it that way. So I just can't believe you just said all that. That's so cool. Thanks, Sin. That's really nice. And I think just bringing light to it is the key, isn't it?
It totally is. And, I love that you actually can see too, that there is the that, yeah, even with the losses, then there's the gifts, Jackson, because a lot of the times we get so attached to whatever it is that we're doing or whoever it is that we were with or whatever plans we had or whatever it is, that we forget sometimes when there is a detachment from that, even if we feel that it's been created by something greater or there's been some sort of interruption, there is always a gift there. And your gifts are just starting to pile up and become a bit of a, mini mountain. So climb your mini mountain and have fun. Yeah, I look forward to hearing more about what you're doing and what comes from this.
Yeah.
It's like a good time for you.
Yeah, I feel it too.
Yeah, awesome.
Thanks, Sam.
Go get them. Sounds great. Good on you. Thank you, Jackson. Okay, Jody, what's your question for this evening?
Hi, Sin. My question is around my little one.
Yes.
I just wanted to see if there's sort of anything going on with her. I'm noticing some little changes. She's very attached, wanting to feed all the time. And yeah, I guess I just wanted to sort of check in there.
Yeah. Change is coming and she's picking up on it. And we can never assume to know what a small child understands, comprehends, or also knows. And some of that knowingness is around energy. And some of that knowingness is and can be what I'm shown is a psychic extension of the child as well. So when a child is younger and they may not have as much methods of communicating with us verbally, it doesn't mean that they don't communicate with us in other ways. And any parents in the audience or people that work with children or have little siblings, etc., will be aware of this. And what I'm showing if your little one is that she feels there is a wave of change coming. Now, the wave is a nice wave. I feel like for you, Jody, you're going to be going, oh, woo, this is great. For her, it's a little bit like, oh, this is a really big wave. And I don't know what this is going to be or how it's going to be for me. So she's already, you could say, energetically, and I do get a sense psychically picking up that there's shifts are coming in the future. Now, she may not mentally see it as past, present, future, etc., but she does sense it. And one of the things that you can do with her is to talk to her knowledge and her wisdom. And I think we should all do this for our children, everybody, because they are they're intelligent, incredible little beings that have lived, lots of lives. It's not like, okay, they might be young in this life, but it doesn't mean they don't already know a lot. And what I'm showing for you, Jody, is if you talk to her and you give her the words of reassurance that, yeah, change is coming to this family and it's going to only add more love, more joy, more happiness. And you're going to be a very central part of that celebration, an integral part to it. And what I'm showing, it's almost like this little face, just, a little smile, emerges on this little cute face of hers to let you know that she does understand. So sometimes I'll say this too, it's like us as adults, but when you name something, Jody, and it means that you allowing her to also then put her finger on the pulse, it allows her to have a level of, you could call it certainty, so that she can also embrace it rather than I feel something, but I don't know yet what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if there's plans even or changes that you are aware of that are coming or that, are in the pipeline, etc., it's okay for you to discuss those and say to her, maybe you feel that.
Yeah.
Maybe you feel that or maybe you're picking up on that. But remind her, I'm your mummy. I'm going to love you as much as ever, probably more because we always do. And that's all okay.
Yeah, that's good. That's really good advice. Thank you.
Yeah, she's adorable. She's switched on, Jody.
Yeah, she's too smart, I think.
She's really switched on. And I'll say this about her. I'm shown like she's alert. Her eyes are, I'm shown, look around all the time, but she's picking up a lot like a sponge, which is typical of that age, but in broader ways as well. So best to talk to her, as I said, intelligence, but also her awareness.
Yeah.
You can acknowledge that. Yeah.
I will. Thank you.
Yeah, nice one. Thank you. Okay, Winnie, what's your question?
So I've been having a bit of issues with like my periods, like they're not really coming. And there's like some spotting in between and stuff. It seems to be a bit just like stagnant or like stuck in that sort of situation. So I'm like wondering if there's some steps that I should take to make it better. Like, what can I do about it?
Winnie, in this is a message for you to honor, you could call it the divine feminine, but the woman within you. And I'm going to sound hippie here, it may help you to connect with the cycles of the moon as well, to be aware of when there is a new moon and when there is a full moon, and to pay a little bit more attention to that in the way that you're allowing yourself to connect with that lunar energy, with those cycles. And not because you're going mentally, right, if I do this and I'm going to get my period and everything's fine. You can almost let go of that part of it, the period part of it, and just allow yourself to stay into that zone of, I'm going to connect with the lunar cycles, and just know that, like I am water. I am, you are a body of fluids as well, and everything has its own cycles. But the focus on the moon allows you to flow without having to think about it. And there is sometimes for you, when the mental stress comes in as well, there is like a mental stress I'm showing that comes in. That also sometimes cuts off your flow in your physical being. So that may be what I'm showing is affecting that other flow for you as well. So again, there are some things that you can do to support this, is to notice when you're getting too stressed, and not just about this matter, but about other things. And maybe even ask yourself, is this that important with some of the things that you stress about? Because there are things that sometimes we will be concerned about that really do, shall we say, warrant our attention. And yet I feel like there are lots of things that come up that feel like for you then almost like they're roadblocks in your mind. And then you get stuck there, and you get stuck on another roadblock and another roadblock. And bear with me when I say this, but it's then becomes you a bit like being a puppet, but the head is over here and the body is over there. And it's like, okay, we need to get the head and the body joined together so that they can flow and there can be a connection there. That's also going to help you not to be, shall we say, disconnected from your body, from you.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Like I always get stuck in like these sort of like these circles of just like constantly thinking about it, and then I can't get out of it either. Like I'll tell myself this doesn't matter, like it'll be sorted, but then I keep on like going back into that cycle.
Sure. All right. So one of the things that they're showing me is that, okay, this is interesting. I see you when you start to go into the circles of thinking, particularly if you're, around a pen and paper, draw a circle. I literally see you drawing a circle, and it's like going around and around and around and around and around and around until it might be quite scribbly. But there's something about that lets your mind cognitively understand that, oh, that scribbly, scrawly mess of circles is actually what I'm doing to me. And it can allow you to almost stop drawing it, and it seems to help your mind stop doing it.
Okay.
And you're sending a signal to yourself of, oh, that's what I'm doing. But what it seems to do is allows you to step out of just being in mental realm by doing. And it allows you in an interesting way to then be the observer, as I would say with mindfulness. You then get to be the observer of that scribble and pull back, which will help you with the ruminating type thoughts. The other things for you to do that may be helpful, Winnie, is to write down the key themes or topics of these ruminations and light a candle. I always say to people, light a candle when we do these sorts of things, because it invites that divine energy, and it invites, and you're inviting the healing in. Write down the key headings of, the themes or the matters that you get consumed with your mind. And then what I'm showing you doing is to not get too over analytical, but to have a brief look at what's underneath that thought. And I'm going to say it to you like this. If there's a message under one of them, for instance, it might be, okay, I always think about my future career, and am I going to be able to do it? And then what you're looking or uncovering is, what is the message underneath it for me, or what is going on for me underneath that? For example, I am not worthy, or I am not good enough. And then you can take a third step, and next to each of those messages, start to question them. Start to actually say, have I got 100% proof I'm not worthy? I'll already tell you, you can't. It's impossible to have 100% truth that you're not worthy, because you're completely loved by the divine. So that already renders you worthy, okay? So what you want to do is contest, in a sense, those things, because if you're not getting, in your case, what I'm showing, not getting to the underlying root cause of the ruminations, those there might be insecurities or self-doubts, etc., continue to feed the mind thinking that relates to them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, makes perfect sense.
I feel for you, the more you loosen up, the more that your body will also go, okay, now I can just be, I can just do this, I can just flow, in the way that you've asked, and in other ways.
Yeah, I feel that. Thank you so much, Sin.
Yeah, give it a go. And I'm curious to hear. Feel free to send me an email or something back to see how you go with that. Yeah.
Okay, will do. Thanks, really appreciate it.
A total pleasure. Thanks, Winnie, for your question. Okay, Nicole.
Hi, Sin. It's lovely to meet you. I've got a couple of friends on this call that have invited me, and yeah, it's really interesting just seeing how this works. And I don't have a specific question for you today, but I am open just to any messages, that are for me that I should be listening to at this time.
Okay, let's see what the guidance is for you. I see you planning things, moving things around in front of you, right in front of you. So not in the future. There is a level of organizing that I'm showing that you're doing, and the organizing does make sense. Now, even if it doesn't make sense to others just yet, don't worry about that. You're getting your ducks in, what is it? Ducks in a row? Yeah, ducks in a row. I was nearly forgot the statement. You're getting, your ducks in a row. And it's not because you're, in your case, I'm showing, going right out in the world with a particular thing yet. There feels this sense of preparation and putting together something. And I did feel like it was, and it might just be a metaphor, plants in pots at first. I saw this brief thing of plants in pots, and I don't know if that's just a symbol of something for you, but that sort of quickly, flashed by. But the main thing is I'm being shown is that you don't need to rush this. So whatever it is that you're working towards, there is definitely for you a straight path ahead. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes I see for clients, it's like, whoa. Yours, or this particular path, is nice and straight ahead for you. But they keep showing me there is no rush, and allow yourself to be at peace with where you are, what you're collecting, what you're gathering, and what you're doing. Because it's all there. And then you are going to be ready to go, okay, hello world, here I am.
Well, I do have a huge to-do list in front of me, literally, that I've just put to the side. So you must have seen that at some point. Yeah, that's really interesting. We're about to start IVF journey, my partner and I. So I'm wondering if that analogy had anything to do with that. But that's really interesting, just being patient.
Yeah. It is around this as well. Although I have to tell you, I felt like it's also about something that you're doing as well. But around the IVF stuff for you, get excited. Get excited. Okay. There are people who want to tell us all their stories. Oh, it took us 3 years. Oh, this, oh, that, oh, blah, 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 whatever. My friend's still not pregnant, whatever. Don't worry about the stories. The stories are other people's stories. Everybody has their own unique path. I'm shown for you and your partner to get super excited about this, not to feel like, oh, we better hold back in case we're not lucky or whatever. You're going to be lucky. It is going to happen. It's going to be a lovely journey. And even if it's not first go, it could be, don't worry about that either. Still allow yourselves to keep feeling when you're doing this, we are so excited because this is happening. And I feel like you guys are rustling and bustling around. And it is some of those things that I saw now because I feel like they're showing me as if you're weaving in and out of some of these things that you had lining up, getting ready. But there is this beautiful, fervent, tangible excitement in the air between you two. And when you spark like that off another person with something you're both calling in, it's like it hits the heavens, if you want to call it that. There is a little soul there. I'm seeing the gender. I won't spoil it for if you don't want to know, but there is a little soul there that is nearby that does want to pop in. And this child, I want to say, is also an excitable child, which is perhaps why I keep picking up on all this, double, triple, quadruple sort of excitement type energy. This little one is going to be a ball of fun and a lover of life, a very enthusiastic human being. So, yeah, let yourselves have fun with this. Let yourselves get into the complete joy of it, just as if you were buying a car. It's a tangible thing. Oh, we're buying a new car. We're so excited. We're going to go look and we're picking out a car, and you let yourself do that because you've got the money, and then you're looking at the cars. It's funny how sometimes we won't let ourselves have the same excitement around something so magical and so precious. So let yourself be uber excited. Yeah.
Thank you, Sam. That's really helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, pleasure. My pleasure. I'm very excited for you. Bree, I feel like one of those game show hosts. And I always feel like I go, and Jody, and Jackson, Winnie. I'm sorry, I feel like anyway, Bree, how are you?
I'm very well. How are you? Sorry, I'm losing my voice.
Okay.
I'd actually like to put it out to source tonight to see what I need to hear or know.
Okay, sounds good. Let's see. There's a bit of that tonight, but I like that. There's flow around you, Bree, and there's one side of you sometimes I'm showing that's getting maybe either a bit bogged down or is getting bogged down, and perhaps either holding on to something or thinking it has to be a particular way or is fixed somehow. That whatever that's relating to, that you're coming from the space of being fixed, let it go. Let more air in, let more breath in, let more movement in, and that's going to shift things, and then things start to spread out from you because there is all this flow around you. It's interesting. It's a little bit like your reading tonight, Jackson, but there's all this flow around you, but there's this one area or this one thing I'm shown that in your case anyway, not in Jackson's, but in your case, you need to let go of. So it could be even that thing where you think, oh, if I do this, it needs to be like, it can only be like this. The universe is like, there could be so much more. And if you allow yourself, you will see it. And the visual I was given is a bit like a yogi or something doing a standard pose, cat cow or something. But it's like, well, you could do that. You could also do this, put the leg behind here and one arm up there. Anyway, I saw this person that was all like completely tangled up, but they can unravel as well. But it was really that symbol for all is possible. All is possible. So free up space in this. Do you know what I'm referring to?
Last month, I think I did. And then now, I don't know. Maybe that's what I'm bogged down in.
Yeah. I'll see if there's a bit more. We can do this two ways. I can see if there's more information around it, or if you have a particular question to help further clarify that, please ask.
Maybe more information.
Okay. It's around structure, and it may also be around routine and the way things are lined up, and it could even be around scheduling or timetabling for you. And I don't know if it's the family schedule or whether it's the way you're scheduling things that you do. But if you break free of what feels like that schedule, or do it differently, or open it up to be able to be done differently, more flow comes in. You get more from it. If I was to say it in my terms, it would be like, okay, I have certain days I work with clients, or most days, but how I work with clients and times. And say, for instance, I was thinking, I'm not having so many clients, and I keep thinking it's this and it's that, and yet the universe will be like, well, why don't you work on a Saturday, for example, or why don't you do this hour and that hour when other people are available? Then I would have this flow. And it's a similar thing to that. It's shifting somehow the schedule. Now, I don't know exactly the details of that
There's a
part.
lot of layers.
Yeah, well, I think you've got family and a business and everything else. So, yeah, there's going to be lots of layers. But allow yourself to, first of all, just play with it. It might just be even jiggling one thing to understand how that works better. Interestingly for you, but also for others in your family. I don't see it as a thing that just becomes all about you, and it doesn't need to be, but it does seem to work for all of you. There needs to be a sort of a rehash of that schedule just to see.
Thank you.
Yeah, it might just be a bit of experimenting. You and your partner might just go, okay, we're just going to temporarily, I don't know, tweak a few things just to see. But I do get a sense, but I do get a sense that it also is going to create space for him as well. Mm-hmm. It's not just you. It seems to go, I feel like he's going to be going, woohoo, cool, this is good for me too. So, yeah.
Perfect. Thank you, Sid.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for joining tonight. I hope to see you next month. I believe it's going to be Tuesday, the 15th of August. And if you're watching this on YouTube, there's a link below that you can click, and you can also join and invite your friends and family. Whether you'd like to ask a question or just want to sit in the audience, you're most welcome.